is Noah, song guide for Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. Ask you please remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs into the truck at all times. Right above you is an animal spotting guide identifying something else might see today. Cannot guarantee you're actually going to see all these animals, or you usually have some pretty good luck. So in a moment here, we're going to test this luck so we can find for ourselves. But also, friends, as a reminder, this is a truck that I am actually driving. The roads out here, they're very bumpy, so please remain fully seated no matter what. Even if you cannot see the animal, it is for your safety and the safety of the live animals. So parents, please watch your children. And children, especially watch your parents. But with all that being said, we've been cleared to enter the reserve, and our first stop today is a little winter forest, where they will be quite shy. They also are pretty well camouflaged, especially with the unique of the coats and feathers. Makes them a little bit harder to spot. So keep on the bush in the shadows, we're going to see if we can spot for ourselves. Oh, actually, you know what's hiding behind the bamboo? Right in front of us, on your left, is going to be a bongo. Hello. The bongos are an antelope species, where both the males and the females look identical. They both have deep orange coats, and they both have these horns that are swept backward. Their head back, they can push, they can tangled up. You get the ghost of the forest, the one behind the shadows, we're rarely seen, the one up here in the front left. While your far right, though, walking around is an okapi. They have some striped legs, look very similar to a zebra, but do not let this fool you. They are most closely related to the giraffe. This is the skeletal structure and a prehensile tongue. Let me have on the food above them, the giraffes can. They're also nicknamed the African unicorn. Their strange appearance on rarely they were seen, they were thought to be a myth. It was until around 1901. Western explorers, they proved the okapi did in fact exist, but still to this day, a very rare sight to see as they are endangered. Not only due to habitat loss and deforestation, but also in part due to poaching. Up here on your right, peeking over the bushes, there's a greater kudu. There she is. We're around to see her. Greater kudu are another antelope species, different from the bongo though. Notice they have much more grayish-brown colored coats, and only the males have horns that kosu is spelled upward. The females over here do not have any. These are the largest antelope species though. They can reach heights around 5 feet tall at the shoulder. And those vertical white stripes at the sides help mimic the sun that passes the trees, just like the bongo do we saw earlier. Way off in front of us, kind of in the back corner, I do see a large black and white bird called a saddle-billed stork. Named for a yellow, saddle-like structure on top of the bill, which you'll see if they look towards us. They're looking away right now. Reach heights over 5 feet tall, with the wingspan around 7, even up to 9 feet into the tip. I guess why they can't go for heads. They're going to rattle and clack the other to communicate, as they do not have a traditional bird call. Back over the Safi River, where the animals are aquatic, they do love their water. Just keep an eye on pretty ripples or bubbles on the surface. There might be an animal underneath. Let's see, well, actually the first one we do spot on the banks. There are some pink-backed pelicans hidden out, which you notice about their name. Not very pink at all, much more gray and white of the feathers. Their name's very light, pink over the skin, and their feathers from the back. We'll make see the blushing. Oh, there's an allopotamus back there. We're going to try and find some more down here on the left. Again, these pelicans are colonial nesters, can group around 500 individuals, quick heavier, the same as this, or potentially doesn't size, quite particular. And here we go, 2 more hippos on your left-hand side. A group of hippos is called a bloated hippo, so it's the third one over there. Oh, actually quite a few over here, at least 4 or 5 of them. Now, hippos, they can hold under the water for several minutes. Help for them is while they sort of swim, they prefer to walk along the river instead. They're quite large, but they're made of pure muscle. So they are very strong, but they don't float very well. They exit through that riverbed, propel themselves along the water, and move very quickly if they choose to. Hippopotamus is Latin for river horse, after all. They also tend to sleep in the river, so during the day, they're more nocturnal and cooler evenings. Rise to the surface, take a deep breath, then sink right back down, all without waking up. It is a natural instinct for them to do so, and helps keep them nice and cool. Keep an eye on the left-hand side. Way in the back or up to the bridge, there could be Nile crocodiles. We'll see what's out about. I'm not seeing anyone right now. Unless they're in the back there. Oh yeah, behind the tree, way in the back left. I think I saw possibly one, but maybe a log. I can't really tell. That's alright. We're gonna go up and over this hill. So notice the moment the trees will be thinning out. So we're gonna go to a very different ecosystem known as the Savannah. Animals rely on much lesser camouflage and more than numbers and speed. But before we in the Savannah, I actually want to point out on top of this hill is be a very large tree called a baobab tree. I'll pull up right next to it. They're quite important. The dry and drought seasons, and these baobab trees poke holes in that sort of structure to get you a bunch of water that's stored inside their trunks. They nickname a tree of life. But they also nickname the upside down trees. You can see why. Due to their appearance, their branches look very similar to the root system because they only have leaves for about 3 months out of the entire year. That was serve all that water inside their trunks. But now we're into the Savannah itself, the largest portion of the reserve, and what you see here, in the western half of it. You'll have the eastern side in a moment. Let's see what we find today. Some Maasai giraffe across the way over there. Some Hartman mountain zebras, it looks like. Now, these are Hartman's mountain zebras. They have a distinct white underbelly and large thick stripes to the back legs. They also have a black colored nose, which are actually black with white stripes, despite having the white underbelly. That's different though for every species of zebra. Just the best to tell the color of their nose, just their true color there. They also have pointed hooves for these mountain zebras, and they give more traction without straining in or out. And also, real quick, I'll draw your attention over here on the left-hand side. You're going to see, usually, with the base of the small green tree, lying down, there are 2 African painted dogs. They are not hyenas, they belong to their own group, and they are a power couple. There's an alpha male and alpha female that make decisions together. These are the most successful pack hunters. In fact, they're way more successful hunters than hyenas, cheetahs, or even the lions. Some save land of the back left, which are the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They are incredibly courageous and determined. We're the only antelope species that are known to turn around and fight back, give the option instead of run away. Long thin horns are curved backward to try and help deter any predator from the backs. And if any predator charges at them, they can lower those horns and flip that predator up in the air. They are so formidable, lions tend to not mess with them. They try and steer clear away if they can. Of course, you're also passing by these termite mounds and towers, all scattered through the Savannah. Termites, they are primarily nocturnal, come out at night, so usually stays in the home of the day. The termites spit mud and dung, especially dung for other animals to collect, because it's a very strong cement-like structure you see around us. A lot of animals actually rely on. The larger animals, including elephants, can use the scratching posts, and smaller animals come up on the mounds, get a nice overlook of the rest of the tall grass. Then, of course, the Maasai giraffe. Now, all the giraffes we see today on this reserve are Maasai giraffe, a subspecies identified in the very rough and jagged spots. They have much more serrated, messier look to them, unlike the reticulated giraffes that have clean-lined and geometric spotted patterns. Let's see. Looks like one of them, is lying down in the trees here. They tend to not do this very often, but this is the second youngest. He's just over a year old. We adore him. It's actually his mom, kind of keep him watch. And this guy, he's already around 9 feet tall, sitting up, despite only being a year old. We adore him. But we just have the newcomer. As of today, we have the youngest giraffe right on top of the hill over here. Just a couple months old, and this is our first day out on the reserve. So we can't stop next to her. She's still getting used to the trucks. We adore her. She's being greeted by actually one of her half-sisters. Mom was the one next to us. But we adore this little one. She looks so tiny, but she's already over 6 feet tall. Little springbok there as well. The springbok, get the name of the springbok, they are 6 feet and 4, they have 13 feet, because they're incredibly fast. The third fastest animal on 4 legs, we're around 53, almost 60 miles per hour sustained run. As a result, they're a mascot. Let's approach the African. Good reason, not much to keep up with them. We love their small color scheme they have. But a group of giraffes called a tower of giraffes, if you could have guessed. To get a quick look at the Savannah itself, we'll right back out here in just a moment. On the corner, while these trees have been knocked over and cleared out, it's a pretty good vacation to interrupt into elephant territory. So let's see. Oh, yeah, perfect timing. 2 African elephants right in the front right. African elephants, they are matriarchal. This one's trying to pick up, looks like a stick there. Or almost a log to us. Alpha females lead the group. She knows the best watering holes, sleeping spots, and eating locations are. Males, they only stay with the herd and considered fully mature. All male herd is a bachelor. There goes a male banjo in your back left. Can't fully stop again, but he's going right back in. There he goes. Very shy and reclusive. The largest monkey species of the tail, the very small one, and bright red and blue bucket face, very familiar. Now also, African elephants have very strong and thick skin, but it's also very sensitive. Of course, they're dirt, mud, debris on the back, some parts of sunscreen, and they have very sensitive hearing, allowing the elephants to actually communicate using very deep, low-frequency rumbles that we can't hear. In fact, we discovered that well around 80% of their vocalizations are done this way. That means a whole herd of elephants, actually in fact, those two we just saw, could be talking to one another right now, and we would have no clue we're sitting right next to them. But both their sensitive hearing and their sensitive skin are very important to this next story. Researchers here on this reserve noticed and discovered the African elephant does not like the sound of bees. So, we took this information over to farmers in Kenya. We're having a lot of trouble trying to keep elephants off their farmland. Regular fences, including electrical ones, were not working very well, especially once the elephants discovered those crops were an excellent food source. After just one elephant raid, the farmers' income and their livelihood would be destroyed. But now, with information, some put up beehives next to their fence lines for their crops, creating this beehive fence. Oh, hello. The young baby elephant over here on the left as well. Let me try and get around things here. They hear that buzzing sound and decide to clear away naturally. Of course, at any moment, though, the elephants could choose to ignore it. Still trying to get the farmer's crops, at the push through this beehive fence. It'll anger the hive, and the skin only take about one sting. They're never going to forget it. They'll change course, preferred routes. Teach them once they're young, and maybe even change migration patterns. They are generational. Just walking through these trees over here. It also allows a farmer to sell the honey the bees produce to the markets they choose to, but most importantly, the people, the elephant, and the farmer safe. This is how they reduce the number of dangerous confrontations with the two of them. Just kind of moving around the bend of the rocks here. I don't know if we're going to get a better look at her. Yeah, there she is. She's over 2.5 years old now. Use their trunks for pretty much everything. Give them the prehensile tip. For drinking water, it's the one for the mouths, and for breathing, so those after all. But they'll have more muscles inside their trunk alone than we have in our entire body. Yeah, there she goes. Here are some greater flamingos, the largest and lightest pink flamingo species. It's very light pink coloring from the brine sugar they eat, which contains the protein beta-carotene. As whenever they hatch, the feathers are actually much more of a grayish color. And it's not until after about 2 whole years of constantly eating the brine shrimp before their feathers even start to resemble that pink that we know and love. And yes, flamingos is called a flamboyance of flamingos. Now across over the eastern half of Savannah. Some different animals over on this side. Bit denser vegetation. Oh, and here we go. I do see there are at least 2 southern white rhinoceros in front of us. No, elephant in the back left. Now these are southern white rhinos. They swim mud well they created. That keeps them cool. So the elephants do, but they go around in it instead. But the name, the white rhino, actually comes from a mispronounced Old Afrikaans word known as weitz. Not white. Weitz translates to wide. Their upper lip is flat and wide. It is weitz, over the grass beneath the ground. Here we go, it's more on your right. Unlike the black rhinos, they have more pointed and triangular upper lips from the bushes and branches above them. Appearance-wise, they can look pretty similar, but what mud and roll around didn't alter their appearance, but the difference, the shape of that upper lip. Your other clues, white rhinos are a little bit larger. Males weigh close to 5,000 pounds. And they're the only rhino species, as you can see here, that group up in a herd called a crash of rhinos. They have terrible eyesight. With excellent hearing, though, those cone-shaped deer listen to everything around them. There's a cheetah in the back left corner behind that tree. She's lying down. Passable 4 legs with speeds of 0 to 60 miles per hour as low as 3 seconds. Mimic clowns going way faster than this, but remember, they are sprinters, not endurance runners. Cheetahs cannot keep this pace up very long. They must time their hunt perfectly to catch a prey unaware so that we cannot run them. And compared to other predators, cheetahs aren't nearly as strong, relying more on their speed, making them more of a daytime ambush hunter, trying to reduce the competition from much stronger nighttime predators. Which we're very lucky we might be able to spot. In front of us here are some Kopi rocks that translate to islands of stone. They do general Savannah for excellent shade and protection and an overlook that lions have been able to hang out around. Now, I don't know if we're going to see anyone just based on the time of day, but they do surprise us sometimes, so just keep an eye out. Oh, there's a water buck, a couple of them in the front right. Another antelope species, very long, shaggy coats, very oily, hydrophobic liquid, gives them a semi-waterproof feel. They like to hang around large bodies of water, and if they threaten, they run into those bodies of water and start swimming to get away from predators. And when they do so, that oily liquid is very foul smelling when it gets wet, helps deter those predators as well. They also have heart-shaped noses, so they are literally stinking cute. I love having them around. Yeah, I'm not seeing any lions right now, which does make sense though, because again, hunting primarily at night, so they usually sleep during the day, around 16 to 20 hours a day, in fact. Oh, also sleeping is some warthogs in the back left through those bushes, that fence back there, the big hairy rocks. So the largest burrowing species of animals, if you consider recyclers, they will reuse a broken animal, cover themselves, then back up into them so they can charge right out to protect their home. There's large tusks, perfect pick up the ground with the roots they encounter. Let's see. Oh, some ostrich lying down in the shade of the trees, over on your right, past that tree stump. Largest plant on the planet, which is close to 9 feet tall, when it was 40 miles per hour, the stride around 16 feet long. Those who are female, or light brown and gray to the feathers, pose the males, dark brown nose, black to the feathers. Watch over some ostrich eggs here on the right, which are incredibly strong, each weighing about 3 pounds. That's worth the equivalent of 2 dozen chicken eggs per 1 ostrich egg. They are strong enough that an average-sized human can sit on top of them. They're not going to break. It does need to hold the weight of the entire ostrich lying down on top of them. An hour passing by the warden's post marks the end of the reserves. Keep watch for any poachers or anyone that may want to misuse the land, but as you can see, the warden keeps them company. Here are some Nigerian dwarf goats. They are a domesticated goat species. The dairy products that produce the milk, butter, and cheese. They're quite social and friendly, but also excellent climbers are demonstrating, and they're excellent weeders. They'll help both the village and the wards out in their gardens. They too tend to eat and graze for tougher weeds that other animals do not like. And, despite their size, really not going to get any bigger than this. Down the road heading back to the village, another story let's share with you is that Disney has a program, the Zebra Conservation Program, where they notice that pregnant zebras require a lot of water. And thus with habitat loss, they have been wandering across farmers' land, trapping those crops, trying to reach these water sources. So in an attempt to protect them both, Disney has partnered with some nonprofits who are trying to purchase the land for those zebras, to rebuild this habitat again for them, but to also cover with those farmers by trying to create safe passageways and corridors either around or even the current farmland to a nearby water source. This thing's not ahead of us here. This crop's not going to stay. Friends, who live the water they so desperately need. There's the land for that, after all. But now, friends, the corner here of the unload docks are really dropping a lot back, so I do ask you please to get our personal belongings and check those pockets and rows when you get off the truck. With all of these bumpy roads out here, things love to follow them quite easily. And it is a very long